Hey guys, it's pretty emotional. I tell you, the oneness and the intimacy that I have with the Lord in this place is absolutely, I know I say this a lot, but it's somewhere between heaven and earth. Like, I don't think I can get any closer to the Lord unless I die. And then I'll be with him face to face. But I am absolutely overcome with emotion. I'm overwhelmed in an amazing way by God's goodness and how he has taken the greatest suffering that I have ever known, me personally, and he's used it for something so beautiful. And I was thinking about the words, "It is well with my soul," earlier. And I think that it's easy for us to kind of throw those words around and say in our head, "It is well with our soul." But I don't think that it becomes truth until we can live, "It is well with our soul." And I feel like that is what the Lord has taught me to do through the suffering here in North Carolina, is that I can truly live, "It is well with my soul." And therefore I can say, "It is well with my soul." I'm out here in this amazing meadow. It's beautiful. It's just green and there's life all around. There's butterflies and there are dragonflies and there are birds singing their melodious songs, and there are puffy white thunderheads in the distance. You see those back there? They're a lot bigger in real life. The sun is shining brightly. I'm dripping in sweat, which is good to detox the junk out of my body. I need to sweat. So this is a good place to come if you need to sweat. It's so humid today. But the grass is green and it's thick and it's growing, and there's just life everywhere that I look around me. And a thought occurred to me when I was still in Lubbock, and it was 2 summers ago that, well, it was 2015, the summer of 2015, when I first was in Texas, where our family moved from New Mexico, and our backyard was green and lush. The flowers were spectacular. My morning glories were everywhere. It was beautiful, and I felt like I had life in me. I felt like I was blooming and growing. And the next summer, it was still green. My flowers were still pretty, but it wasn't as lush and as alive as it was the previous summer. And then this summer, there's no grass, like no grass. We've had no rain. It's dry. The earth was cracked. It was barren. And I remember taking pictures of my flowers, and sometimes my backyard would get in the picture and I would crop it out because I was embarrassed of how ugly my yard was. And it hit me that that was a reflection of my life. It was the summer of 2016 when it was still green, and it was still, my flowers were still pretty, that things were beginning to spiral downward for me. And it was April of 2016 that my immune system really took a nosedive when I got mono. And little by little, my health began to fail me. And then this past summer, it was just barren and dead. And God, when all this crazy physical, emotional, spiritual stuff started happening to me in November, Thanksgiving night, in fact, kaboom is when it hit. I know it was coming before that, but that's when the pit experience really began. One of the first passages that the Lord led me to was the Valley of Dry Bones in Ezekiel. And I remember thinking then, my God is going to breathe life into my dry bones. That's what is happening here. But I didn't really put it all together until just maybe a week ago, or however many days ago it was, that God gave me this remembrance of the way that my backyard looked in Lubbock before I came here. And it was so dead and it was so dry. and the earth was literally cracked, and it was parched, and it was just so thirsty for water, for life. And God took me from there, and he brought me to I'm going to cry in all my videos, because this journey is so emotional and so beautiful and so hard and so amazing all at the same time. But he brought me to this North Carolina, this place of life and beauty. And it was like the moment that I landed, I started to live again. And I started pressing through. And God was breathing life into my dry bones. I wasn't dead, but I was dry, and I had nothing left. And if he didn't come to my rescue, I believe that I was gonna die. If not physically, I sure wasn't gonna get better physically, but at least spiritually and emotionally, I was like on my way to death. And the body's gonna follow that. And so I stand here in the thick of this beautiful, whatever you want to call it, meadow, and I'm sitting here listening to some of my favorite worship songs. Even If by Mercy Me, I can sing that with truth. I used to avoid that song, but I can sing it with truth. That man, faith the size of a mustard seed has the power to move a mountain. But even if God does not let that mountain move, my hope is in the Lord. My hope is in the Lord. It is well with my soul. Like I said, I can really say it because I can live it. I can live those words again. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. The song that you hear in Fireproof, the movie, I don't even know who the guy is that sing it, but even in my waiting, I'm vowing to the Lord to obey him in worship and service while I'm waiting. I don't know what God's going to do. I believe that my story is not of this world. There's a bigger purpose here than what I think I've even been able to understand until recently. I've been inflicted. Yep, all of this. None of it's even better. And I'm telling you, my emotions are at peace. My spirit is at peace. I rest in God and his promises and his goodness, and in awe of the way that he has sustained me every second of every day the last 9 months, being in pain that most people will never, ever, ever have to experience in their whole entire life, at least in the physical form. And I just stand here in awe that I really am just lost for words. The Lord is marvelous. He's absolutely marvelous. And he's worth all suffering. Because I know that it's momentary. And every step that I take forward in obedience is getting me that much closer to the finish line, where I enter in to my home of eternity with Jesus face to face, and I will be with him, and I will be like him, and there will be no more pain and no more suffering and no more tears and no more death and decay. There will be no more dry bones in the valley. But I feel like that is one of my messages, is that so many of us Christians, so many women, guys, I'm speaking to the women because I think that we are easily driven by fear, which tries to make us grapple for control, which causes us to get angry and out of control. If we feel like we're out of control, which we're really not in control, it's just a stupid deception. And if you would let go, and not settle for the mud pies that we keep feeding ourselves, but settle for the shepherd's pie. Helen gave me that when I was talking to her about the mud pies, but the shepherd's pie. It's amazing what he's going to give to us. And not to spoil us and make us bratty and entitled, but to show his glory and to show his goodness and to show the world this amazing, awesome, massive God that we have, who delights in his children, who sent his son Jesus Christ from heaven here on earth to rescue us from our sin-sick, decaying selves, our spiritual cancer that is sending millions upon billions of people straight to hell. He sent him here to rescue us from this momentary suffering, the momentary trials, the momentary darkness that the light, it cannot ever, I'm not saying it right, the darkness cannot ever overcome the light. When you have the Spirit of God living in you, doesn't matter how hard the suffering is, doesn't matter how dark it can become in moments, that light is going to keep shining, because God's commitment to us is that he's going to keep fanning the flame of hope. He's not going to extinguish it. And even though sometimes our gray mood and our gray mindset will cloud that flicker, it's still burning bright behind all of that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm even going to post this. I just am out in this field by myself, and I'm just standing here with the Lord, and I'm worshiping him, and I'm praising him in the suffering that continues. And it's delightful. I think I got to capture this moment somehow. Because I believe that I'm going to go on to live a really good life once I get through this storm. God keeps telling me to trust him. Hang on, keep walking forward in obedience, keep serving me, keep glorifying me in your suffering, keep praising me, keep showing the world what I'm doing, keep showing them the miracles that I'm performing, because I am the same God yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And if I could do that years and years ago, why could I not do it today? I didn't change. That's what he keeps telling me. I didn't change. He uses our suffering to bring him glory when we choose to magnify his name, praise his name, declare his goodness in our suffering. And he takes it and he makes it this beautiful sparkling diamond. I was doing some therapy today with one of Dr. Song's workers, and she does reflexology and she does essential oils, and she was asking me to envision this dark, icky evil that's inside of me. And she said, "What color is it?" And I was like, "It's this deep purple, dark, deep purple, maybe some splashes or hints of red." And she asked me what shape it was, and I said, "It's oval." And she said, "I want you to picture it becoming a circle." And I did. I literally envisioned and began to push that oval into the circle. And she said, and what does it look like now? And I said, "It's a diamond. It's sparkling and it's a diamond." And then I could see it go back, and it was a piece of coal when it went back. And then I pushed it, and it was a diamond again, and it remained. It kind of go in and out, in and out. And it was like God was showing me that the pressure that I've applied in this suffering is creating this incredible diamond that is shining bright for God's glory, for my glory, is what he said. And it was the most incredible thing, that moment, whenever she was talking to me and asking me to envision the color and what it looked like, how it went from this strange, deep, dark purple to an oval shape, to a round shape, to a sparkling, crystal clear diamond. And then God moved it back into this almost a uneven square shape that was black, but he revealed that was coal, that I personally was that piece of coal that was being pressed so hard that I feel crushed. And I'm not crushed, but I feel crushed. And yet what it's producing is this brilliant, incredibly sparkly diamond for his glory. So the crushing and the pressing and the the weight of suffering that comes to his children is producing something so much more glorious than what we can even understand if we will let go of control and truly surrender and live out "it is well with my soul," and not just say it with our words that it is well with my soul, because it's easy to say it's well with my soul, but living it out. And the world sees that, and other Christians see that, and they're edified, and the world goes, okay, this is different. This is different than what I see in so many people who say they love Christ. What is it? And it's Jesus. It's his radiance and his brilliance coming through the life of his children who are surrendered and in submission to their God and their Father and their King and their Savior and their Lord. So anyway, I'm out here worshiping the Lord by myself in the quiet with all the nature noises around me. It's the most amazing thing that I think I've done in this whole trip out here. It's glorious, and I'm like, Lord, I'm afraid to even leave this place. Not really afraid, but I just want to take it in, and just to think that one day soon, because to God, one day is like 1,000 years is like one day. We're here today, gone tomorrow. I am going to be in the very presence of God, Christ, face to face, and I'm going to get to do this for eternity. And it will never grow old. It will never grow tiring. It will never be pulled by the pressures of the world. We'll never be pulled by the pressure of stuff that has no value, no significance, that people kill themselves for, work themselves to death, and miss the abundant life. They miss the abundant life because they're striving and killing themselves to try to gain the world's riches. For what? For what? Anyway, I'm gonna go back to my worship.